Okay, hi everyone, members, non-members, BB fam, non-BB fam. Okay, so I'm Shwetambari, your host, your dost, your coach, all of that. And Ryan Fernando, of course, is the founder of Qua, and he is a celebrity nutritionist. Right? Founder of Qua is one. He's like coaching and counseling the likes of Virat Kohli, Anushka, Manoj Bajpayee, Fardeen Khan, who else? Shikhar Dhawan, Robin Uthappa. They're like just way too many names. I can't go over all the names, but these are all the names that's coming top of my mind. And of course, I've been with Ryan forever now. I think since 2015. Rishabh, all of us, right? But yeah, let's hear it more from the man, Ryan Fernando. Thank you so much for your time. I know Sunday is family time for you, and every time we interrupt you on a Sunday, but thanks so much. Means the world.
Hey,
Thank you.
Shay. Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. And yeah, you've probably heard my voice on the podcast or on radio. That's how I met Shwetambri. We co-hosted a show many years ago. Let's get cracking into it. The first thing for fat loss in 2022, water. Water. So if all of you are listening in, the thousands of you that are checking in today, please hydrate well. It's the winter season, so everyone makes the New Year's resolution, but because it's cold, we don't feel like drinking water. And the simplest logic I can give you is if you come to my clinic and stand on a fat percentage scale, people who have a higher fat percentage. So imagine a fat cell fighting with a water cell. So fat cells hold very little water in it. And metabolism is very sluggish when there are fat cells inside of you. But if there's more hydration in your muscle, the muscle's temperature remains lower. So you normally go to gyms and people say, I want to sweat more. And I'm the type of guy when I go to the gym, I close everything and I put the ACs on 16 degrees Celsius. Because the colder the temperature, the cooler you are with water in you, the more fat you will burn. So if you can afford taking Shwetambari and me to the North Pole, let's go and have a cult-filled workout at the North Pole because that's where we'll burn the most amount of fat. Ladies, gentlemen, one thing you could do, 250 ml water bottles, freeze them up in your freezer, and during your workout, put one in one hand cold and other in the other hand cold and work out. There was a research done in Sweden where they did this experiment and lowered the palm temperatures of athletes and they found a higher calorie burn. Not significant, 20 calories, but guess what? 20 calories will help you and I when that dosa, that ice cream, that Swiggy, that Zomato is available at a push of a button. And it's lesser than 20 calories to push that button, but that delivery to your home is about 400, 500 calories. So, Shway, let's see what people have to ask us because there's a lot of myths out there in terms of fat burning. And when I'm helping the film stars, I'm helping people get the six pack. It's not as complicated as it seems over the years that I've found out. And I've found out it's discipline.
Hmm.
Discipline
Agreed.
that is complicated. And we all live lives with a lot of temptation. So let's get the road on the
Yeah.
show.
So what I'm going to do, Ryan, I mean, the first question, honestly, I had was for you to kind of just go into fat loss, the workout plus calorie deficit, because we're all talking about calorie deficit when we want fat loss. You've given us the meal plan, and just a little bit on that, and then I'm just going to go straight into everybody's questions.
Okay. So imagine each one of us as a vehicle. Okay. You can buy a new vehicle this year, but you can't buy a new you. So all of us on the planet are what we call as models. So I'm a 1975 model. Okay, I was born in 1975. So you kind of figure out what is your model. Now, this year I'm going to buy a new car. I can buy a new phone. I can buy a new gym membership. I can buy everything new except myself. So I would like you to spend the remaining years of your life understanding your body. What is your metabolism? So when you stand on a weighing scale that gives you resting metabolism, that is engine idling speed. When you're like I'm right now burning calories as I talk to you. So if you're sitting down, you're breathing, you're thinking, you're burning some calories. So your resting metabolism is based on your body weight, specifically bone, muscle, water, fat. All of this create that energy requirement. Now, if you want to lose weight, I'm saying weight. You can do it like how everybody's unscientifically doing it. I step on the weighing scale. Oh, my weight is 85 kgs. I lost 1 kg today. What did you lose? Did you lose muscle? Did you lose fat? Did you lose water? Like if you come for a diet plan to me and you have a shadi 10 days later, I can make you lose 5 kgs. It's all water weight. Okay, because we are 60% water. So don't get enamored by slimming fixes by celebrities and people, and there's no quick fix method. Take it from me. I work with the best in the world. It's the discipline of understanding your metabolism, so your engine idling speed. So if you require 1500 calories a day and you're eating 2000 calories a day, you're not going to lose weight. However, if you're working out and you eat lesser calories, body's going to say, hey, you're pressing the accelerator on your car, you're not filling me in. I'm going to tell the engine that we are in famine mode. And the next time you fuel this vehicle, we're going to take all that fuel and store it as fat. So high stress markers of low calorie diet. So dieting never works. Next year, I'm writing a book called The Death of Diets. So you do not want to be following a general diet. You want to be curating and doing your own diet, which is what's my resting metabolism? How much am I burning? Now, physical activity is anywhere from 200 calories to about 1500 calories. I do believe if you do more than 1500 calories, you get into the ultra athlete zone, and that is very damaging on the human body. You need specialists like me coming in, and then you have to have heart rate monitoring. But let's say all of us work out 1 hour a day, 1.5 hours a day. What you need to be doing is figure out the calorie burn. So if you do a spinning class, it's about 600, 700 calories. If you do, Shwetamri, what is your burn in a normal workout that when you get it for your body?
Yeah. So if I'm doing like my morning, 1.5 hour workout, I get about 400, 450 calories from that workout. And
Wonderful.
then, yeah, and then through the day, by like, with walking and being active and all of that, by the end of the day, I sometimes touch like 800, and on some very good days, even 1,000 calories.
So let's work with this 1,000 calories because that's a superstar level. And let's work with 300, which is the base level. So it's like a battery on your phone. Okay. You know how many hours of charge is left. But if you're constantly recharging your phone, which is eating, you're
Yeah.
never going to drain the battery. So I want you to imagine that there are two muscles in the body. Okay. Uh, for simplicity, let's say my Trident chewing gum. Oh, quick tip: sugar craving, use a sugar-free chewing gum. It's very low calorie. If you don't have bad teeth or teeth with bad enamel, you could use a chewing gum whenever you get a sugar craving. It's always on my desk. So let's imagine my chewing gum is my carbohydrate and this big case over here is my fat. Now my all my muscles have these two batteries. Okay. At lower intensity, you utilize a higher fat battery. Did I say this
Fat.
was the fat? Yeah. So
Yes.
so I said this is the fat battery. At higher intensity, when your heart rate goes beyond 70% of your target heart rate, then you utilize
Carbs.
you utilize carbs. So the idea over here is when you're burning 300 calories, about 70% will come from fat if it's low intensity, 70% will come from carbs if it's high intensity. So as you work out in the year, there's a secret here which nobody talks about. The secret is as you begin to train and train, you get cardiovascular conditioned. So I'll give you a simple example. I have to run 1 kilometer. If I suddenly start a fitness New Year's resolution in 2022, I may run that 1 kilometer in, let's say, 20 minutes, right? But after about 100 workouts, I'm running that 1 kilometer in 15 minutes. Then after another 100 workouts, I'm running it in 10 minutes. And then after a year of working out, if your cardiovascular condition, you're running it at about 7 minutes. Okay, where am I going with this? Your heart rate begins to drop, and the lower your heart rate, the more it utilizes fat as a source of energy.
Hmm.
Which is why, in addition to your cult fit workout, I want you to be physically active. So Shwetamri called me. I'm like, hey, where are you? I was like, I'm cleaning the house. The servants are not come today. The housekeeper is not coming. So I'm cleaning the house, washing the dishes. I burnt more fat in low intensity activity. So all the guys over here, jadu, pocha, washing the dishes, gardening, amazing way to get the six pack. It's called NEAT. If you don't believe me, Google this up.
Mm,
NEAT, which is
mm,
non-exercise adaptive thermogenesis. Okay. So if you do a workout, so now suddenly somebody's thinking, hey, I need to do the workout. Why do I need to work out with Shwetambri? The Shwetambri workout will give you cardiovascular and muscular fitness, lowering your heart rate. When you lower your heart rate and you get more conditioned, you become like an Usain Bolt. So even if you do a 100-meter sprint, your heart rate is so low, it's always asking fat to come out of the body. But
mm.
when you're an unconditioned individual, when you run, you're at the higher peak heart rate, which is burning carbohydrate in your muscle. So the secret to fat burning is the consistency over 1, 2, 3 years.
Yeah.
Get cardiovascular conditioned, and work out to get muscular strength, so increase your muscle size. So this 1975 model, every year will lose muscle because my testosterone will be dropping. Same goes for women. Women will have a drop in testosterone, and that is why they are producing more fat, because the body wants, as you go towards menopause, to store more fat. So evolution has made adults grow fatter as we age.
Mm.
To defy this, you weight train, you exercise to stimulate
Yeah.
muscle growth. Muscle is the secret fat burning machine. I repeat, muscle is the secret fat burning machine. And muscle is the only age reversible organ. So at 47 years of age, my metabolic age is 33. So what I want you to do is I want you to commit not only in 2022, but for the next 10 years. And this is the biggest bummer of it all. Are you listening in? Fat resides in your body. It's got a shelf life. For example, my blood and your blood has a 4 month shelf life. After 4 months, we get new RBCs. Okay. And people are like, oh, I'm rejuvenating after 4 months of being fatigued or something like that. Your stomach cells change every 9 days, your skin every 7 weeks, your hair every 7 months. So a new root, it falls off and you get new hair. So whenever people say I've got hair loss, I'm like, what have you been doing 6 months ago? Fat, 8.2 years. The shelf life of a fat cell in your body is 8.2 years. So let's say there's a little bit of fat here in my stomach right now, and that fat cell says, ha ha ha, Mr. Fernando, I'm going to reside in your body till, what's 8 years from now? 2030. Okay, 2030. Now, if I decide not to work out or not to control how much I put in my body, that fat cell grows in size. But guess what? 2023, you're convinced, and I'm going to do a resolution with Ryan and Shwetamri. You start doing it for 6 months, and the fat cell shrinks down. Hang on, the fat cell is not gone away. The fat cell is
Yeah.
there. It's gone inside. Now suddenly Maldives vacation comes along and you decide to go in November, and you're like, oh, I'm working out and everything. And for 2 weeks you let go completely. Boom, goes back up. You do it for a year, boom, it goes back up again. So the whole way of you understanding your model of your body is, if you've let it go in your teenage years, if you've let it go in your college years, if you let it go in your first job, I get a lot of people who have their first job. They're so focused on their boss. They're so focused on working 20 hours a day. They will order any food from online apps and put junk into their body. And now they've got 5 kgs of fat in the body. By the way, one serious workout is going to burn about 26 grams of fat. One order on an online app will easily add 100 grams back to you. This is the mathematical economic situation of the human evolution race. It's not fat burning. And Shwetamri, yes, what's your question?
I No, not a question. I just want to add to that whole fat cell shrinking and growing. So I'll just give you my own example. Ryan, I met you on 21st of December for my consultation with you. And I remember that time I was shooting for Belly Burn, and I was obviously, consistently exercising and all that. And I think my fat cell literally shrunk, or probably became like super small. Then I finished my shoot and I rested a week, and then, between hospital back and forth for father and all of that. And I also ate a lot, like ate a lot of plum cake, so on and so forth. I'm not exaggerating, but I can see a change, and I think my fat cells have really grown bigger, and I can actually see my belly, in a literally different shape from what it was as on 21st, right? If I even measure. So just reiterating to everyone about what Ryan said, right? That whole fat cell story, how you keep working out and keep it, at that size, and just the moment you let go, it really becomes big. And I'm one of the examples right now because I'm dealing with it. So you can't really, even if you stop working out for whatever reason, like he said, vacation, I guess if you don't stop moving, you're still good, right, Ryan? I
I
think the
think you're
walking and
good.
the movement,
And for all the ladies in the audience, it's a double whammy for women.
yeah,
Men, at least you got testosterone. So I've seen couples that come in, they join for a program, and the husband within 3 months gets a result, and the wife is sulking in the counseling room, like, why is he getting all the good stuff and I'm not getting a result? Women evolutionary are designed to store fat, Shwetambri. It's for
yeah,
reproductive purposes. So
yeah,
I don't know, women know this. As you grow older, estrogen production drops down, but fat stored in your body can mimic estrogen. Therefore, it's an evolutionary process to store fat. So I'll give you the example that I had is when my son was born about 8 years ago. So during that period, we had no maid servant, we had nothing. So I stepped in and literally I was tracking my testosterone and my estradiol levels. So when my fat percentage went up by 1.5 kg, my testosterone dropped and my estrogen levels went up. So the question is, it's like a feedback. People who have a lot of fat will the testosterone will be masked in men and women. So there's a lot of things that you can understand, but let's not make it complicated. The
sure.
simple
So,
equation for everyone is you need to move and you need to be aware of your portion.
yeah. So then going back to like the fundamentals, right? You said if someone is just burning about 304 to 400 calories through the day, what do they do? And if they want to burn fat and if they want to be on calorie deficit, how does it then it become very tough?
It is tough because the main idea over here is realistically, you can get about a negative 500 to 1000 burn on a collaboration between diet and exercise. Okay.
Okay,
What I'm trying to communicate is that you cannot go through an rock bottom low, like you can't eat 0 calories a day.
exactly.
Okay. So some people come to me and say, what about doing OMAD, 1 meal a day, intermittent fasting? Yes, these are good. Do it under the guidance of a dietitian. But a lot of times when you make a New Year's resolution, you throw yourself into an elite category. And no, my friends, you are not an athlete if you have not been an athlete for the last 12 weeks. Because after 12 weeks, even a Robin Uthappa and a Virat Kohli, if they go into rest mode, the entire body's mitochondria changes to not
Mm,
burn as aggressively when you're in athletic mode. So
correct.
what we want to do is we want to get about a 500 calorie deficit from diet, and we
Mm,
want to try and achieve a 500 to 1000 calorie burn with exercise.
perfect. That's
In
clear.
today's day and world, your cult fit ad will push us in the direction of workout, cardiovascular fitness, muscular endurance, and it's a process wherein you don't want to you don't want to flog your horse, the horse being you. You want to trot along and increase the speed slowly. The biggest mistake I see people doing is they press the booster rockets on day one and then they pewter out by month three. You want to build slowly.
Yeah,
15 minutes, next minutes, next minutes, next minute. Shwetam, a lot of
yeah.
people are saying they can't see me. Is it an issue? I think you just need to go to speaker
I
view
can.
on your Zoom or on your
Yeah,
app.
I. It's very clear for all of us. Like,
Cool. So
huh. So
let's go
I want to
forward.
start taking questions.
Yes.
Okay. Sam, is there a minimum calorie intake? I only eat when I feel hungry. So sometimes I eat only 2 times a day. Is that okay?
Brilliant question. And I'm going to make a very controversial statement over here, but I'm putting an asterisk to it. The controversial statement is this: the human race is eating too much in
Yeah.
2022. I'm talking about the people in listening into this video. If you've got a video, if you've got an internet connection, you're getting a salary, you're eating more than you actually require. What do I mean by this? If we went back to 1,000 years, we probably eat 1 or 2 meals in 3 or 4 days. When agricultural revolution happened, we began to eat grain that could be stored. Right? And the secret over here is less is more now. I genuinely believe after the pandemic, when people have experimented with intermittent fasting, 1 meal a day, you actually metabolically survive. And of those of you who are adventurous and scientific enough, get a CGM device, which is the constant glucose monitor. I had one put on my arm last month. I was gobsmacked to find out that rice is the worst thing for me, and potatoes don't even give me a sugar spike. So it's bio individual. So whilst one food might go into your belly and cause you to gain fat, for somebody else it might burn fat. So start figuring out those foods which will work for you. Hold down on your meals. And Sam, it's absolutely okay to do 2 meals a day. If you have a concern about it, stand on a weighing scale that measures fat and muscle. Do 2 meals a day for 1 month. Do the workouts, do the diet. If you're losing fat, but your muscle percentage is remaining the same, bingo, you've hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
We are eating according to the industrial revolution, which was factory workers. So in the morning, breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, enough to fuel you to work 8 hours a day manually. Today, you and I are all desk jockeys, using our fingers and brain. Very few of us, maybe Shwetamri has a manual job actually, because she works out. She's taking classes, she's doing so many things. So she's doing a physical job. I sit at a counseling desk. What I have done is I bought a standing desk so I can move around over here and I can get 200 calories extra per day. So it's very, very important for you to understand that it is absolutely okay for you to do lesser. The secret, which was the disclaimer I want to tell you, is if you have a nutritional deficiency, hemoglobin, iron low, vitamin B12 low, vitamin D low, then when you do a lesser meal, you're getting lesser calorie, but you're also getting lesser micronutrition. So it means you could be taking a hammer to your own foot. So ideally, what I would suggest to you to do is get a blood test done. Check your liver profile, check your kidney profile, check your vitamin B12, vitamin D. If you can afford all the vitamins, I would do that. People ask me, do I take a multivitamin? I don't, because I only have one vitamin that's always low, which is vitamin B1. So I've actually bought only a vitamin B1 supplement and I take it on alternate days, and I check 6 months later, now all my vitamins and minerals are normal. Whenever I get cramping, I take a magnesium supplement. So coming back to this 1 meal a day, which I think is the most important question of 2022, you can eat lesser. Then the next question comes is, what about protein? Remember I told you, step on the weighing scale, check if you're losing muscle. Now, if you've lost a little bit of muscle, this is what I would do. I would first go to a nutritionist is what I would recommend it, because if you want to consult, you can chat with people, hey, what's going on and all, like a coach. But if you think you want to do it yourself, then the next month, if your liver and kidney is okay, add a little bit more protein to your diet, pull down the carbohydrate in these 2 meals, add more fiber, which is the vegetables. And that added protein, maybe about 20 to 30 grams, preferably post your workout to save the muscle, preferably post your workout. And I'm not saying a whey protein, I'm not saying a protein supplement. You could do diet, but if you need a nutritional convenience and you cannot prepare or cook food, then maybe you can take a scoop of plant protein or dairy protein. I'll come back to selection of protein later. But here's the point, everyone. Here's the most important point. When you take an assessment on month 2 end or month 3 end, if you've stabilized muscle and not losing muscle and losing fat, you figured out your perfect protein, you're still at 2 meals. The next thing that I would do is bring it down to 1 meal. People ask me, what about acidity? So the intermediate things for acidity could be water, could be green tea, could be cucumber or celery. These foods don't activate your insulin spike or break your fast. And the whole idea then is to get insulin working only once or twice a day, and it's very dormant and very calm. And then suddenly the fat cells in the body are like, hey, this person's not giving me enough of energy, so let's start exiting the body. And that's where I bring in L-carnitine as a fat burner, cinnamon as a fat burner, vitamin B12 as a fat burner. I use fat burners which are found in nature. Okay, and that's how I would do it. So for the huge number of people listening in today, I do genuinely believe we're eating too much. And if you're not
I
losing muscle, please kind of figure out how you can downward grade your main meals in the day by 10-20%. The next is to pull off a meal and look for acidity, no acidity, headache. Wow, I feel good. And you'll face 9 days of irritation. You'll face 9 days of a headache, maybe acidity and all. But after 9 days, boom, it disappears when you shift down to 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day.
Yeah, and a question just the opposite to what I just asked is Akshay is asking how to control eating when you feel hungry from the heart.
So there is two parts to the profession of a nutritionist, and so Shreya, I always love coming on your show, but then I also hate coming on your show because I give away my trade secrets. And the biggest problem in today's world is it's not a physiological battle; it's a psychological battle.
Yeah,
If
agreed.
you're brought up in a house where food is amazingly cooked well, if you're brought up in a household where you've had an excellent mother as a cook, if you're living now in a house where your spouse is an amazing cook, you're doomed because your taste buds are driven psychologically. They're not driven physiologically. Your taste buds. Your muscle may be driven physiologically, but your muscle is not driven psychologically. So a moment on the lips, straight to the hips. How do I solve this problem? And I made this statement, and I'm digressing slightly over here. I have a lot of the investors and apps coming to me because I run one of the largest customized bespoke nutrition clinics in the world. I have over 50 dietitians on my team, and they come to me and say, we want to develop an app and we want to do this. And I said, the app is going to give direction to people, but when you want people to change behavior, they need to talk to somebody. So
Yeah,
it's amazing to have groups of people together. You can motivate each other. A group of friends should join together because then you feed off each other's psychological motivation, behavioral change energy. Have a coach, have a fitness coach, have a nutritionist coach, have a mind coach. I have this one guy who's mastered everything but could not follow the diet and could not do the training. The moment he brought a mind coach on board, he realized 90% of his excuses in life are psychological, including gravitating to food. Because if I would put everyone in this scenario, I threw you in prison. Would you have a job? Sir, I have cravings. Prison officer, please give me some donuts from Swiggy. If you were in prison, we are not in prison. We have disposable income. We have an app at the click of a finger. So I believe the battle to not eat is psychological. And in our clinic, we do a gene test. It's very interesting. Last night, my wife caught me in the kitchen at the fridge. Like, what are you doing over here? I have the snacking gene. I may look skinny, but I keep foraging. So I need to eat something every 2-3 hours. And my fat percentage consistently remains high. Now people ask, why aren't you muscular? I have all the free protein in the world. By taking all the free protein in the world, I've not become Arnold Schwarzenegger. We have a gene in us which promotes muscle. Certain individuals have genes that attract more fat. Certain individuals have genes that build more muscle. You would have seen this in your class. Some guys are beefy and some guys are not beefy. Some guys are athletic, some guys are skinny. So we are trying to change all of this with diet and exercise, and to a certain extent you can. But
yeah.
the fact of the matter is it's psychological. So get off the apps which get sinfully tasting sweet sugary fatty foods to your home. And the simplest thing, Shweg, you know what people could do? Lift your shirt up, take a photograph of your belly, print out that photo and keep it on your cupboard door and stick it on your main door. Every time that food comes in via your main door, no, and you're looking at it, you're going to see your belly. It's going to be a psychological reminder that the food cooked in restaurants is not good.
So I just want to quickly add here. So, like you said, you have that snacking gene. I don't know about the gene, but I have, the whole thing for sugar, right? And my sugar doesn't have to come in the most nasty form. It could even be, like maybe 3 bars of a dark chocolate. But what I'm saying is that for many, many, many years, I could not get myself from getting off sugar. I could switch to a jaggery, I could do things, but I couldn't get off, and I really wanted to do it. So you know what I finally did, Ryan? I mean, I took a vow for something else, of course. But now it's been exactly 8 days I'm off sugar, like completely off sugar, no jaggery, no any form of sugar, right? I can just tell you it was super tough for the first 3 days. It's been 8 days now, and I feel great. I
You
miss it. Like I see other people at home eating dessert and I miss it. And I'm like, but it's not so difficult at all.
the temptation of controlling food, as I said earlier, is psychological.
Yeah,
What you did, Shwetambri, is you did an unnegotiable act in your head,
yeah,
which is you said, I did something spiritual. When our belief, our psychological belief is really powerful, and you go and say, I'm not going to touch a sweet because of XYZ,
yeah,
it's going to. Now, when Virat Kohli gets a six pack and you look at that, I want a six pack. Not much psychological motivation. When your wife says, I married you 10 years ago and you had a six pack and now you have a nice family pack, there's not much motivation over there to change. But
yeah.
trust me, jokes apart, anybody who's ever gotten a divorce has come to me for a six pack and they've achieved it. Why?
Mm,
Because you're not in your comfort zone where you don't need to look good.
mm,
You're suddenly in the market, right? So the psychological perspective towards I need to get into the market, I need to look good to date somebody. The religious perspective, I psychologically believe in God and I'm going to follow this. So
yeah.
we should go to the underlining thing, because everyone says I have a craving. The craving is genetic, or when people have come to me, I'm like Sherlock Holmes of the blood test. I find magnesium, calcium, and I find insulin resistance in people.
Mm,
So, a quick tip to everybody over here today is, if you add more magnesium based foods in your diet, if you
mm,
add dark chocolate with no sugar in it, and you do what I do also, which is sugaring, I use chewing gum. I limit the amount of sugar that I put into my body.
yeah.
And if you can't control that, and if you have a belly, both women, if you have a belly inch size of above 32 in women, which is around your belly button, and men, if you're above 36, then you seriously need to consider a blood test and working on your diet, because it's the belly that's causing the sugar craving, and it's a long drawn process. If I have to explain to you in simple English, if you have a house that has many doors in it, your children will come through all the doors and they'll want to open all the doors. The belly is the sugar attractor. You
Mm.
lose your belly, your sugar cravings disappear.
Okay, I'm going to take yeah, quicker questions now,
Let's
faster.
do rapid fire.
Yeah, just drinking warm water help in weight loss or fat loss? Because
Yes,
you spoke about temperature.
yes, it does. Warm water. There's no scientific literature out there, but what I feel from the ancient Ayurveda practices, a warmer water is equivalent to your body's temperature, and most of the liquid fat that circulates in your bloodstream becomes easy to move around, like butter. Butter, when it's cold,
Mm,
it's hard. It's not going to move. But the moment you heat
mm,
up the butter, you can spread it on your toast a little bit better. The
mm.
fat in your body, you want it to move when you're exercising. So warmer water actually in the morning, I feel, starts the digestive process, and I do believe helps out. Those who are
Okay.
with elderly people in the family, let elderly people at night drink from warm water in the midst of the night, because most of the heart attacks happen early morning, and it's
Oh,
because of dehydration. So more warm water in the older people as they sip through the night.
that's a great tip, Ryan. Thank you. I've not seen oranges in most of the diet plans. Is there any problem with having orange while you're on a weight
Oh,
loss
no,
journey?
no, no, no. Sorry. So sorry about that. You know, there are over 16,000 foods that I can put into the diet plan. Okay, I know this because I have a proprietary database. The idea of making a nutrition plan for belly burn, which Shwetamri was, how can I be as generic as possible and for the full year? Sometimes oranges are seasonal. There is absolutely no issue with any fruit. It's all about the portion. And please
Yeah,
understand, whilst the plan is generic, you want to get a little bit more specific in terms of your choices of the
yeah.
food as well as the portion.
Perfect. I have a metabolic rate of 1300. How do I increase the same? Also, I have 37% fat. I've been working out for the past 2 months. Please suggest.
1300 metabolic rate, 37% body fat, which means your muscle mass is low. You can
Hmm.
increase metabolic mass by working out with Shwetambri, and over 1 to 3 years, boost your muscle mass so that your metabolism goes up by about 50 to 100 calories per year. Remember, I
Mm.
told you earlier, you lose muscle. Muscle is the only age reversible organ. So start first for the next 2 decades in terms of every year when you step on it, your metabolism is going up because you're putting more muscle into your body. How do you put more muscle into your body? You weight train,
Yeah.
specifically resistance train, and then eat about 1 to 1.5 grams of protein in your entire diet. If you start doing this, the muscle will start latte charging your 37.5% fat. And if Shwetamri, I can step into your space, I would advise this person, in addition to your workouts, walk with the spouse or your loved ones for
Yes.
about 45 minutes every day, and you'll watch your visceral fat and your
Yes.
subcutaneous is under the skin fat, begin to drop.
Thanks for saying that because as a part of our belly burn program, Ryan, for all the intermediate advanced athletes, we've given a challenge of 15,000 steps a day. And for my beginners, it's like 6 to 8,000 because they're obviously just starting out and we don't want to, we want to make it more achievable. So if from 2,000 to 500 steps a day, you're moving to 6,000, that's success. For the rest of them, it's 15,000 steps a day. And I can't emphasize more on the importance of walking. Ryan said it himself, so I'm hoping you're all going to be following that.
Shwetamri, you had a kid, and Anushka has had a kid, and when you look at the pictures of both of you, you're back to your pre-pregnancy slim waistlines. Why? Because the advice to both of you was, after you have your kid, start walking. Start walking because you got
Yeah,
that fat. And when you're breastfeeding, you actually burn more fat when you're physically active. What most Indian women
true.
do after they have the kid, I'll start after 1 year. There's no nanny,
Yeah,
there's no this. I remember you would literally have find the time and fight for time because
yeah,
you are very responsible to getting that walk in.
yeah. Uh, yeah, thanks, Ryan. Okay, here's a very interesting question. I have my marriage after 20 days and I want to reduce 5 kgs. I'm not.
Ask the
Don't.
person to get in touch with us at Qua Nutrition. We'll see what best you can do. But with a quick tip, start moving to fruit. Drop your carbs. Drop your carbs. But be careful. You might become the Godzilla bride or groom because when you drop carbs, you get irritated, right? So what I would say, apple, pineapple, if they agree with you, uh, protein, and a lot of vegetables. Try and have it more towards the like less oil and all of that stuff. In the morning, if you drink coffee, I would do a cup of black coffee with lemon and a teaspoon of butternut and start off my day with that. And I would also, if so, this is too dangerous before wedding because normally I give cinnamon, but sometimes cinnamon causes cold sores. So if you are a person who's eaten dalchini all your life and put cinnamon in your coffee, nothing happened. Start doing quarter teaspoon of cinnamon breakfast, lunch, dinner. Cinnamon tends to help in fat burning. Um,
Don't overdo the cinnamon is something that you want to tell
Coconut,
everyone.
yeah, don't overdo that. And coconut water also helps in slimming down a person. So 1 or 2 coconut waters a day. Again, sometimes people are, I'm allergic to coconut water. If I have coconut water, I get full mucus production. So the
Mm.
advice I'm giving is very generic. When people come to me, and there's a joke in our clinic that if anyone comes 10 days before their wedding to Ryan Fernando, he's like, sorry, don't take it, because anything that a person does, if there's a side effect, the entire family will say, because you did that, that's why that happened. So if you're getting married, just walk, eat light, sleep well. That's the best thing that
Yeah.
you can do.
Yes. Whenever I'm trying to lose weight, I get headaches quite
Ah,
badly.
okay. So I echo with this person. Whenever I've tried to do intermittent fasting, I get headaches. Some of us are very sensitive to sugar drops. So we are
Mm.
what we call as nibblers. We are not the 1 meal a day people. Such
Yeah.
a person, I would recommend them to contact a nutritionist to work on the diet, look at your fat percentage and everything. So then you do a belly burn with nibbling concept, not 1 meal or 2 meals a day. So you reduce that nibbling such that you don't get headaches. Another reason that people get headaches, and man, we could go on for 6 hours today. Post vaccine, I'm getting a lot of research on the spike protein affecting clotting, the ovarian syndrome, women having abnormal menstruation cycle, early onset of menopause. aggravation of clots, heart attacks, etc., etc., etc. Where am I going with the vaccine? Everyone's gotten vaccinated. I think we need to prevent clotting, and one way to do that is to prevent the narrowing of arteries. So the key non-medical tip over here is beetroot, butterhead lettuce, and pomegranate. I have researched this completely, and I do this with the top guys. Why beetroot? Beetroot contains nitrates. It dilates blood vessels. Why butterhead lettuce? It has the highest amount of nitrates. So you can put it in your salads. Why pomegranate? I released a video yesterday on the research of pomegranate reducing plaque formation in arteries and blockages in the neck by up to 35% if you had 240 ml of pomegranate juice every day for a year in a group of 10 people. So if you have old people in your family, buy them pomegranate, feed them pomegranate every day of their life. It will save them a lot of blockages in future. I'm not saying that it's going to reverse. I'm saying these are small tips that you can add. Now, why should everyone in this group add that? Because when you're working out like crazy and you get a headache, could it be that your blood is too thick, so not hydrated? Could it be that your blood vessels are narrowing up because you're getting older and there's cholesterol? So maybe beetroot, maybe pomegranate, which are again negative calorie foods, which will not lead to weight gain, and you're clearing up your arteries and you get better circulation. In three months, you start glowing.
Wow, great tip, Ryan. Thank you so much. How can we incorporate ragi balls in the meal plan?
Wherever there has been a rice recommendation or a chapati recommendation, ragi is a grain, jowar is a grain, bajra is a grain. So go to your grain, GRAIN, and I've said like 100 grams of rice. Take that out and put your 100 grams of ragi ball over there.
Okay. How to overcome bloating?
Bloating. So the world has changed a lot, okay, Shwetamri. We're getting a lot of data on something called as the microbiome test. We have about 2 kgs of bacteria in our gut system. Yeah. This is literally like New York City or Bombay City in your gut. Okay, we have more population of bacteria in us than human cells. So we are actually bacteria and then human next. Now, when you put food into your body, the population of this bacteria, how it decides to ferment your food, is a key component to the fermentation gas process, anxiety, suicide, depression, putting on muscle, burning fat also. So for example, if you have certain bacteria that are higher inflammatory, they cause more fat deposition. So the first step is, if you have a lot of bloating, I just prepared breakfast this morning for my kid and I put butter in it. I'm allergic to milk, all forms of dairy. I can only drink camel milk. Don't ask me how I figured that out. There's a test, you can do it. I tasted his French toast, which I put in milk and everything. For the next 20 minutes, I don't know if you noticed, I kept drinking water. My throat has got a kujli. I have now begun to read my body. So if this person or anyone who has bloating, you start compartmentalizing your diet and put food into it. So I get bloating whenever I do brown rice. If I do white rice, I don't get bloating. So you start keeping a diary. Oh, today I ate kaddu. Oh, today I ate lauki. Oh, today I ate chow chow. You will then come to know that these foods are fermenting wrongly in your gut. Another way to do it is to do a food intolerance test. And I never knew for the longest period of time, I'd never had a flat tummy. I would always be bloated. I used to love to eat peanuts and almonds. So everyone eat 5 almonds a day, 10 almonds a day. I was allergic to almonds, but I had no symptoms. But the moment I took up peanuts and almonds, whoosh, it went flat. And so from that perspective, that's what you do.
Yeah. So basically identify what is it, right?
Like you can do apple cider vinegar also to try and see if it works for you. Watch your teeth. You might get enamel loss. So drink apple cider vinegar diluted with a straw. Shwetamri, people can also do digestive enzymes when they have bloating for a 2-month period, because that helps the body readjust the bad gut. And for people who have IBS, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, who are trying to lose weight, don't try and do fancy diets. because you're just going to aggravate your gut. Go customize, go bespoke, figure
Yeah,
out what is the issue with your gut. It's very, very important. You can do
true.
intolerance test in Bangalore with Anand Diagnostics, Thyrocare, SRL, Ranbaxy. You just ask them, I want to do the food intolerance test. And if you go online to the website, you'll see everything. You'll say, oh, bananas, they'll give you the list of tests and all. You need to do a little bit of research. Like when you buy a new car, you do so much of research. But when you want to do something for your human body, oh, my neighbor friend did this, I will also do this.
So food intolerance test
Yeah, food
is
intolerance
something.
test.
Okay. Anusha, how do hormonal imbalances associated with PCOD affect weight loss and how to work with this, especially due to high estrogen and low progesterone? It's really frustrating, to see unexplained weight gain and then difficulty in losing it. Hormones.
This is one of the most complicated topics in terms of weight loss. And for all the women in this audience and all the men who have daughters, don't allow your teenage daughter a rampant weight gain in the ages of 10 to 15. Why? When you have more fat in your body, fat is going to kujli the ovary and say, I'm going to affect your estrogen. Now, the moment the girl gets to teenage years, college, I want to look good, I want to have a boyfriend, I want to get married, etc., etc., she's now suddenly concerned about her body and wants to lose weight. But you've already got significant 4 to 5 kgs of fat, which is kucheling the ovary every day. So you're trying to do weight loss, but that fat is refusing to get out of your body. And I said 8.2 years.
Mm,
So this is the psychological battle that a woman with PCOD has to endure. She's
mm,
trying to do everything, but she's not losing weight. And people say it's hormonal. PCOD is controlled with a good gynecologist with the proper insulin medication because they have very high sugar cravings. So you got to control your insulin, probably get the CGM device, eat without the allergic foods, reduce inflammation in the body. We have a customized bespoke PCOD thing at our Qua Nutrition Clinic. So for general purposes, for people with PCOD, I always advise spend 1 year with a good nutritionist, spend
yeah.
1 year with a good trainer, get the fat moved out of your body, bring the percentage down. Most PCOD women have over 30% body fat. Ideally, a woman should have 20 to 25%. In reproduction years, 25 to 30. The moment you cross 30, the fat creates those polycystic ovarian, the cysts. The moment you get the fat down, disappeared. I married a girl who had PCOD, and by the 5th year, we already had a child without fertility medication. She has no PCOD today because we altered the diet and the workout. And her mother's a gynecologist, which is my mom-in-law. So you got to figure it out. It's diet, it's diet, it's diet. Please get bespoked in your PCOD diet. It's a long journey. You can't do it in 3 months. You can't do it in 6 months. But I can tell you it's highly reversible from hundreds of women that I've worked with.
Yeah. Chewing food properly and eating consciously, does it matter for belly fat burn?
So I said 2022 for me, two concepts that I'm going to tell people that are very important. One is breathing.
Hmm.
The ideal breath is 5.5 breaths per minute. We are breathing at 16 to 18 per minute. So the human race is a chronic race now of breathers that are breathing too fast, which is why we have high adrenaline, high cortisol, more fat.
Yeah.
If you want to lose weight, this is what we are going to do. 5-second breath in, hold for 5 seconds. 5-second in, 5-second hold, 5-second out. You keep doing this, and I promise you, I can show you on a weighing scale, you will burn more fat because the ultimate byproduct of fat burning is carbon dioxide and water. So, exercise. What am I doing? Carbon dioxide, water. When you're relaxed and between two calls, between two meetings, between two videos, I was doing the dishes this morning, Shwe, and I was breathing and doing my thing. So there's this lovely book by James Nestor called The Lost Art of Breathing. James Nestor, Breath. Anyone who works out and wants to change their body, buy this book. And trust me, after you buy this book, you'll suddenly find yourself in a parking lot whilst everyone is agitated. Your car is just buying somebody. You're standing there and saying, Ryan, breathe. After some time, you're like, you know what, insurance is going to cover it. You please go your way. I'll go my way. The world is fighting more because of breath. The second is chewing. We're chewing very fast. So when you read this book, all our food is so soft, we have forgotten to chew, which is why I want you to bring in the chewing gum to develop your jaw structure, which helps your breathing. But the second part that I want you to know is that we are watching TV, watching videos, reading the newspaper, so we are forgetting to chew. Try this experiment. Take a bowl of carrot, weigh 100 grams of carrot. Everyone try this. 100 grams of carrot, don't watch anything, put the carrot in your mouth and chew it and see how much time you can finish 100 grams. Then watch TV and tell me how much time you finish that bowl of carrots. So my perspective to you is when you chew, you add more saliva, it digests the food better. When it goes into your gut, the mastication sends satiety signals. Satiety means I feel full, goes to your brain. So when it goes to your brain and you get this sensation of fullness, your next meal is going to be of a smaller quantity. So the art of chewing in the previous meal is the insurance policy towards a smaller meal portion in the next meal. Oh man, I got to patent that line. The art of chewing in the first meal is your insurance policy to eating lesser in the next upcoming meal. So please chew your food.
Okay. So a lot of questions on intermittent fasting.
It's good,
Right?
please
Do you
do it.
recommend it? Your
It's good,
thoughts?
please to do it. It's good, please do it. If you can do it under the guidance of a good nutritionist to prevent any issues, look at your micronutrient deficiencies. If you're not going to go, if you're not going to go to a nutritionist, do a multivitamin on alternate days. Add a scoop of any protein powder that agrees with you post your workout. Have more vegetable in your food and make sure you understand what does 30 grams of protein look like, and try and get in your 2 meals of intermittent or 3 meals of intermittent fasting. For those of you who don't know what is intermittent fasting is very simple. You try and get a gap of minimum 12 hours between the last 2 meals. So if your breakfast is today at 8 o'clock and your dinner yesterday was at 8 o'clock, that 12 hour is a 12-hour fast. The best intermittent fasting is at 18 hours and you have a 4-hour eating window only. So you eat basically from 1 to about 4 o'clock in the evening. So you have one meal at 1 o'clock and you have another meal at 4 o'clock. Okay. For the men, working out on a fasted state is better. But for women, I would advise you post your workout to generally have a meal. And if you're working with me, I would ask you to do 1 week with eating and then workout, and then do 1 week without eating and then workout, and see your resting heart rate the next day. If it's very high, then it'll give you an indication that how you should go forward pre-eating before a workout.
Yeah. Murtaza is asking knee pain and fat problem.
It's simple biomechanics, it's simple weight.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know this, but the weight translation, if you're 90 kg man and you start running or you walk, you translate 1.5 times on a single walk stride. If you run, it's 4.5 times. So you're putting in nearly half a ton of pressure every time your knee bangs in when you're overweight. Which is why I'm telling you, Shwetambri, the future is going to be people who are lighter. People who are lighter are going to have lesser joint pains. The aircraft guys are going to say, Sir, Ryan Fernando, you're overweight. I'm going to say, did you see the guy behind me? If I stand with my baggages on the weighing scale, I'm not overweight. My point to you is your carbon footprint on the planet gets better. Your knees love you when you're lighter. Do not run and damage your knees in 2022 such that for the rest of your life, you can never work out. Slow and steady wins the race. You're going to live on this planet for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 decades. I plan to live till 100. So I've got 5 decades in me. When I go to the gym, I'm working out. My trainer says, come on, sir, one more leg press. I'm like, maybe not today because I can feel a tinge of pain. Live to fight another day. Just because there's a person next to you who's 20 years younger than you, don't think you're James Bond or Moneypenny. Okay? Live to fight another day. We want you to be with us for the fat belly burn, for you to become a brand ambassador to the people around you in your society, in your family, in your classroom circle, that you are reversing age, you are getting fitter, and you become that brand ambassador that convinces people around you that it's a slow and steady process of diet and exercise.
How to increase testosterone level? Good question.
Testosterone can be increased with white mushroom, broccoli, navy beans, and zinc. Not too much of zinc, but maybe twice a week of a zinc supplementation of about 15 to 20 milligrams. There is an ancient Indian herb called gokshura or Terrestis tribulus. Be careful. Whenever I take it, my wife says stop taking it because I start getting angry in the house. So it's kind of, if you're not married, taking a testosterone booster is great. But if you're married, be careful. But somebody asked about vitiligo. I just want to insert
Okay, I
over
didn't see
there.
that.
There's an autoimmune condition called vitiligo, Michael Jackson disease. We at Qua Nutrition run the world's first course on teaching dietitians about vitiligo. It's not a reversible condition, but because it's autoimmune, I will make a public claim. It is driven by the foods in your diet which activate the pre-existing genetic condition. To slow it down, get a proper autoimmune diet for your kid, and two, three things. You have to watch for homocysteine, which bleaches the skin. It's a very indirect process. I don't have much time here to explain it. Avoid gluten and lactose. Avoid gluten and lactose. Your doctors will say there's no living proof. I will tell you that we have been able to arrest progression of the disease over a 3-year period, and people's like, I get no more patches, but we are not able to reverse the condition.
Okay, about protein powder. So a lot of questions again. What should I have? Do I need to take, protein in the form of a protein shake, alternatives, etc.? So one common
As a
answer.
nutritionist, I used to take the hugest amount of protein powder till the age of 41, 42, which was about 5 years ago. Um, Supplements are a nutritional convenience for your nutritional indiscipline. So what I'm trying to communicate to you is, if you don't have the time to put things together, cook it, buy it and all, maybe you can take a protein powder. Now you need to do the food allergy test, because if you're allergic to dairy products, you do not want to be taking a whey protein or a casein protein. So then you go to plant-based protein. The very funny thing is, I started taking green pea protein, which is plant-based. And then when I did my food allergy test about 4 years ago, I was like, shit, I'm allergic to green peas. And that's when I shifted to brown rice protein, and I had no problem. So what do I mean by problem? Bloating, loose motions, how's Herbalife products? Look, there's Fasten Up, there's Herbalife, there's Body Fuels, there's Optimum Nutrition, there's Amazing Grass, there's Sun Warrior. There's a lot of companies. Don't ask the brand, ask the nutrient composition. Is it green pea? Is it brown rice? Is it organic? Is it flavored? Half of these guys have got sweeteners in it. So if you want to be taking something for the next 50 years of your life, make sure it's organic, make sure there are no sweeteners. It's going to taste crappy because it's only protein, right?
Yeah.
So what I would suggest to a lot of people is to fortify your idli, your chapati, your dal. So buy a neutral, unflavored protein and put it into your dal or your dosa maav or your paratha, and mix it up with that and bump up the protein by 5 to 8 grams.
Yeah.
Post workout, the golden rule for athletes is 20 grams of protein from my book. People take 30, 40, 50 grams. With due respect to anyone who's giving you advice on nutrition, ask them one question. What is their qualification to give you that advice? I studied at Goa Medical College. I attended first year MBBS as a fifth year master's in clinical biochemistry at the Goa Medical College. Doctors know jack shit about nutrition. I will take on any doctor in any part of the world and they will say this, that there was only 1 or 2 lectures in nutrition in the medical course. Because people tend to trust the doctor to give them advice of nutrition. Go to a person who studied 5 years of hardcore nutrition and ask them, and they will tell you it's bio-individual. Figure out how much of protein you require as per your body weight and your exercise. Can I get it from my diet? If I can get it from a diet, what is the portion to receive 20 or 30 grams of protein in every meal? Am I achieving that? If I'm not achieving that, could I get it from a pumped up source, which is a supplement? If I'm going to get it from a supplement, which food agrees with my body? And that is the way to go. Breaking of nails, is it due to nutrition loss? Obviously, loss of hair, skin, breaking nails, breaking bones, depression, suicide, all of these things are related to nutrition. When somebody commits suicide, I tell my wife, that person committed suicide. Must have been. She's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, if we are able to reverse that person by 15 years, we will find nutritional deficiencies in that person and gut bacteria that have gone so toxic that when the food gets fermented, it releases psychotropic molecules that affect the brain. And this is not me. I'm not a researcher of the brain. Google up a guy called Dr. Daniel Amen. Dr. Daniel Amen is the foremost researcher in the world on SPECT scans of the brain and drug abuse people and anxiety and depression. And he talks about the link between the microbiome, nutrition, and nutritional deficiency and your brain performance.
Yeah. How do I understand or get any idea of my metabolism?
A simple, if you walk into the Qua Nutrition clinics, if you're anywhere in the world, we can arrange for you to get the information. You can buy a simple Omron weighing scale, and that will give you your fat and muscle, and it automatically calculates your metabolism. If you Google up on Google BMR calculator, or you go to my website www.ryanfernando.in, there is the calculators that I've put somewhere in the website, fitness calculators. You click on that. I've got your entire calorie calculator, everything built in there. So you put it in there, all the data, and you can figure out how many calories you require in a day. It'll calculate it for you.
So this, okay, I think we should, it's an hour. So another 5 minutes, Ryan. Why does fat only get deposited at belly for me?
The Indian race, I believe, has the gene that chooses a selective area due to thousands of years of evolution, because we live closer to the equator. So we are shorter stature. So muscular structure is lower than other races in the world. So there is a gene, I forgot the name, FADP and APOE, and there are about 10 genes that cause the Indian race to absorb more amount of nutrients and deposit it as fat around the belly area. So it's something that is genetically evolved. Like, you'll see the foreigners, they work out and they get a six-pack very easily. And with the film stars and all I work in, it takes much longer. The driving point is, make sure that you don't deposit belly fat between the ages of 20 and 30. If you do, you've got an uphill task to burn that belly. It's being at it for a period of time. There was a research paper on cinnamon reducing belly fat up to 5% in a 6-month period. So I would do your core exercises, I would do the diet, I would do the higher protein, intermittent fasting, cinnamon, I would do L-carnitine, I would put all of this together to begin to reduce my belly fat over a 10-year period. And trust me, after 10 years, you will have a slimmer waistline than before. Shruti, you can get in touch with us at quanutrition.com in case you want a personalized appointment.
For a vegetarian diet, is including soy on a daily basis have impact on testosterone, estrogen levels?
The Koreans, the Chinese, the Japanese all eat soy, huge amounts of it. And I don't see the population in that part of the world any lesser. But when I've worked with Olympic level athletes and have given soy to the vegetarian athletes, I've noticed a marginal drop of about 100 points on testosterone. So for the men in the audience, if you're above 45, consuming soy is beneficial to the cholesterol perspective. So don't worry about the testosterone. If you're under 45, planning to have kids, want to have more sex in your life on a daily basis, then I would say maybe soy once or twice a week. For the females, for me, soy, specifically fermented soy, which is tempeh, is the best option as well as for men. So it's tempeh, tofu, soy. That would be, so tempeh is fermented soybean. So it's like taking curd and milk kind of thing. So I would go with tempeh. And you get some amazing options now in India with tempeh. So I would do tempeh for women, and if they want to do it almost alternate days and stuff like that, I don't see any problems. Again, bio individual issues. Some women have hormonal issues. Do a blood test. Work with a nutritionist. Figure out it works for you or does not work with you. Like Shwetamri has been working with me for so long. So over the years, we have figured out what works for her and what does not work for her. And then she puts that into her diet.
Yeah. Okay. Last question I'll take. Well, impact. Okay, this is very important. Impact of stress on fat loss.
I have had cases that I've never been able to solve. Obviously, people come to me, you worked with Amir Khan and Dangal, Virat Kohli, wow, and blah, 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 blah. And so that's what we advertise to the world, right? But to be honest with you, for every 100 cases, I have 20 cases that do not work. And people are like, I'm going to take you to consumer forum, I'm going to sue you and stuff like that. And I'm like, look, I can only promise you the best scientific guidance, but I'm not God to understand how that reaction happens inside your body. So over the years, these 20 people that I'm not able to it eats me up, okay, because they've spent money to come in and all. So I think to myself, what could it be? Most of the time when I analyze those people who fight with us, and invariably it's all 20 of them who come to fight with me, they're extremely stressed out individuals. The guys that get the fastest results are the most happy-go-lucky bindas people on the planet. The ones who are
Mm.
OCD, the ones who are stressed out, stress is actually shown to raise cortisol markers. There is enough of research out there. They put it on rats in a cage, they stress out the rats with electric shocks, and they both feed the rats the same diet, and the guys with the electric shocks get fatter, right? So stress is a huge component, and I'll tell you, Shwetamri, the one case that convinced me on this, I had this lady, she was with me for 5 years. We were doing everything. She got beautiful skin, beautiful hair, everything. So like, every year I renew with you, but I'm not getting slimmer. So she was not getting fatter, but she was not getting slimmer. But she was maintaining an increased muscle mass. So she got fitter, stronger, looked beautiful, was glowing. Everyone was talking about her. But you know how women are, no? They want to fit into that zero size and everything and all. And then she went to Maldives in the first lockdown, and she's a very elite lady. So she had a lot of money. I was very jealous of her because she went there and stayed for 45 days. Now, for 45 days, you don't have proper access to the internet, blah, 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 children, this, that. And she and her husband went over there. Husband was an investment banker, investor and everything. So they were working from there. So she was like, I went scuba every day. I was snorkeling. And then she came back. She had lost a whopping 7% of fat. I actually changed the batteries on my weighing scale because I thought it was wrong. Then I sent her for a DEXA scan. She lost weight. What did Maldives do to her? De-stressed her. Make a long story short, 3 months later, fat percentage going back up again. So if you can breathe, you can lower your stress. So right now, my heart rate is at 107 because I am standing over here and I'm very excited, right? My parasympathetic nervous system after this thing is going to get activated, where I'm going to go down and get it down to 66. At 66, I tell my body I am very calm. So today, if I remain at this 107 level, I am at fat storage mode. If I don't eat and I starve myself, starvation condition, fat storage mode. So you got to eat to lose weight, you got to breathe to lose weight, you got to detox. Tension nahi lene ka hai, tension dene ka hai.
Okay, oh my God, there are like so many questions. I
Shwetamri, can you do me
actually,
a favor? All the
yeah,
questions that have come in, they are really good questions. I feel this is representative of an elite ambassador audience that I would like to influence. All the questions, could you copy them and send them across to my team? Everyone, what I'm going to
yeah.
do is I am going to, over the next 1 month, answer those questions on my Facebook profile. So I have a Facebook page, not my personal profile. I maxed it out. There's a Ryan Fernando celebrity nutritionist page. I'll start making videos and posting these questions over there, and then hopefully, if you like it, you've got your answer. And if you think it's a great answer, please share it with somebody, because somebody the other day asked me, sir, why don't you do more posts? You will get more famous and all. I don't want to get more famous. I want to get more people healthier. And so if you can share content or be a brand ambassador, we will become a healthier nation. We are a very unfit nation, and food is the center of our religion. So if we can just clean up the eating act, you and I will live till 100, and we will be very productive citizens, very motivational citizens.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to be sorry, Ryan. I'll be
Everyone's
able
asking
to.
for the diet plan.
So the meal plan is actually available on the app, everyone. Uh, on the Bellyburn landing page, if you just scroll down, the meal plan is there. It's called the nutrition plan. So you just have to click and download the PDF. It's as simple as that. People on the community, Facebook community page will just go ahead and share it again, but it's on the Bellyburn landing page on the CultFit app. So please go ahead and take it from there. But yes, there's so much to talk about food. I know it's very difficult to answer everyone's questions, but thanks so much. Ryan, we're going to send you the questions. I don't know how you're going to be able to really take all of them.
It's
Uh,
my job. I have to do it. I'll do it.
okay, cool. Yeah. So anything that you want to just leave everybody with?
Um,
Uh,
so uh, I get up every morning with a single-minded mission: is how do I change the way India eats? I started Qua Nutrition because, as Ryan Fernando, I can counsel 140, 150 people a year, which means everybody gets left out. So it's a pleasure to do seminars like this where I can kind of give counseling, gyan, and tips to people. So thank you for having me on board and inviting me to do this for your audience. I'm hoping that they will learn something or they'll imbibe something. And in this team of Qua Nutrition dietitians, I really don't need to do it because I actually make more money as an individual than as a group of clinics. But I realized that if I teach another 50 dietitians, they're going to be able to go out and uh, train 200 people. So if there are people in over here who want to become fitness specialist and nutritionist, my one sincere advice to you is it's a brilliant profession. Get qualified, don't get certified. That is, go and do an actual degree. In America, people do this. When they're 40 years old, they decide to become a doctor. So if you're enamored by this profession, you can start practicing with your friends circle, with your society and everything. And if you want to learn more, I have a teaching website called institutenutrition.com. You can go over there. And if you want to buy any of your nutritional supplements, I endorse and I partly own a website called supplement.in, because Shwetamri, I found out that there was this brilliant product called Health Aid Acidophilus. It's a probiotic. So the Health Aid owner called me up and told me that somebody in UP counterfeited his Health Aid Acidophilus because it's a top seller, and he was selling it at let's say 1800 rupees. That person counterfeited the product, put milk powder in the capsule, and put an alternate store in Amazon and put it at 1300 rupees. Now when you go over there, you see Lactobacillus acidophilus. Amazon's not going to do a checking job on that. Okay.
yeah.
And so what happened is the clients all started buying the counterfeited product from Amazon. So if I can give you an advice, go to the company that produces it directly. So if you're buying a Fasten Up, go to Fasten Up. If you're buying a Health Aid, go to Health Aid. I am putting these brands together by going to the owners at supplement.in. I'm also getting supplement.in to make it, because I told everyone the other day, they came to me and said, okay, you want to do a collagen? I said, yes, I want to do a collagen. Where can I get the best collagen? The idea is get the best product by doing your research, try it out. Second is, as much as possible, go to the source of production and buy. Because along the way, there are too many unscrupulous people in our country. There are no ethics, and it's just so bad. So this is what I'm doing. My name is Ryan Fernando, and
Ryan, before you leave, someone just made a point on the COVID thing, right? Like a lot of people are testing positive, a lot of people are afraid. I just want you to quickly give everyone the same advice you gave me, like double down on this, double down on that,
okay.
just
So
for,
wow. So do I have 5 minutes
sorry.
to explain this? Okay. So
Yeah, we'll
if you're
get logged off in 4 minutes.
Okay, 4 minutes. Okay, here's the thing. If you got the vaccine, that's great. You got a protection, but a booster dose, as per Dr. Robert Malone, and on the Joe Rogan podcast. Now, Dr. Robert Malone is the guy that invented mRNA vaccine. He's invented. He's talking about the booster dose technically not actually giving you a protection against the Omicron version. And the Omicron version is very similar to the cold virus. So have no fear. What do you need to do? Boost your immunity. You've got the two versions of vaccine. Great. Now what you need to do, you need to take care of that scrappy food you're putting in your body. All restaurants use palmitic acid, which is high inflammation. Your immune system will get suppressed. Start eating cleaner. Get in amla, get in turmeric, get in zinc, giloy, all small quantities. Don't take it as tablets, don't take it as kada. Add it to your food.
Can't hear you. I mean, I can't hear you.
I can hear you. Can anyone hear you? Give me Tushar. I can see on my screen. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So
hear
okay.
you.
Great. So Shwetamri, what I'm going to do? We have a COVID boosting immuno protocol via food. Can I send that across to you and can you disseminate it to your group?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I can put it on the community group. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've designed in last year, and this is commercial right now, everyone. So forgive me for being commercial. I designed an effervescent tablet called Immuno Uno, available at supplement.in. So it's a nice supplement which you drop into a glass. It bubbles up. It's got a tulsi, turmeric, giloy. It's got echinacea, all in the correct doses, which will activate your immune system. It's not going to protect you against the virus. What's protecting us against the virus, ladies and gentlemen, is non-risky behavior. I'm a Goan and I didn't go to Goa. And everyone who went to Goa has come back with the virus. Why? Risky behavior. I'm in Goa, I'm partying, I'm going to remove my mask off. You're going to get exposed. Now that you got an exposed, it's going to transmit. Fine, job's done. These stuff is just going to boost your immune system. And there are very few Omicron deaths. But the problem is when people are having cold, Ryan, I want to see you in the clinic. Arey, you have a freaking cold and you want to come and spread it to me, and then I meet 5 other people and spread it. It's risky behavior that's spreading all of this. So we are all Ganta population by not wearing our mask and being, I don't know what's the word, but anyway, you can get the document, boost your immunity, and guava and amla should be your best friends. Pepper, rasam, turmeric, all of these things have got scientific studies. And for those of you who have heart problems, pomegranate is your best friend. I am in the hunt to buy a pomegranate farm. If anyone owns a pomegranate farm, maybe about 200 pomegranate trees, I am going to take a bank loan to buy that farm. God bless you all. Thank you all for having me today.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Lots of love to you.
Love you too. Love you, everyone.
Wish you the best year. Thank you.